The Yankees have won 40 games so far this season after a 10-2 thrashing of the Kansas City Royals at Kauffman Stadium on a night that started with an Aaron Judge home run that might not have landed as you are listening to this podcast right now. It was 469 feet upon the roof of the Royals Hall of Fame in left field, and as someone that has been to Kauffman Stadium, that has been inside that Hall of Fame building, it is very, very far from home plate. And 469 to the roof, imagine if there wasn't a whole ass building. Like, I mean, that's probably, I don't know, that's probably touching Bo Jackson, Jonathan Scope territory. I know those are two very weird and different names to put together, but two of the longest home runs in Kauffman Stadium history. A 475-foot blast from Bo Jackson, and I believe Jonathan Scope was 481. It was 480-something, but maybe Judge could have flirted with that if there wasn't, again, an entire freaking building in left field. But he got the Yankees off to a very good start. As the Yankees clobbered rookie Noah Cameron, who I talked about on yesterday's podcast as someone who has been off to a fantastic start to the season, to the point where the Royals were kind of trying to move around arms as they got healthy to ensure that Cameron stayed in the rotation. And the Yankees hit him harder than anybody else so far in his very brief major league career. Finishes with 5 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, and 6 earned runs. Gave up a 3-run home run to Austin Wells, who also had another RBI in the top of the 6th inning. And really, the Yankees kind of continued to pull away. You get the 2-run first, which is very helpful, but in the bottom of the second, the Royals were able to get a run in on a fielder's choice for Jack Caglione, another stellar rookie for this Royals team. But Max Fried went to work. 7 innings, 6 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and 2 earned runs total in the game. He ends up giving up a solo shot to Jonathan India in the bottom of the 6th inning, but otherwise he was really, really strong. Yet again, the Yankees remain undefeated in games that Max Fried starts following a New York loss, and he has been that true stopper ace that the Yankees have needed him to be. And now as we sit here on June 11th, he has lowered his ERA to 1.84 with a 0.93 whip, 9-1 record on the year. And the final 6 outs of the game came courtesy of Yerry De Los Santos, and then the Yankees with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th inning. After De Los Santos already had thrown 40 pitches, they go to Tim Hill to get the final out, who has now, I believe, is now batters are now 0 for 15 against Tim Hill in his Yankees career with the bases loaded. 1, that's good, and 2, does very much still make you feel some type of way about choosing to go with Nestor Cortez over Tim Hill with Freddie Freeman up in Game 1 of the World Series last year. But, I guess we can't keep litigating that over and over again. Clearly it was a mistake, and clearly it went as poorly as it could possibly have gone in that situation. But in this situation, it went as well as possible. A quick out for Tim Hill, who really only needed 6 pitches in this game. But overall, strong game for New York. Got a couple hits from Trent Grisham in this game. Judge goes 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. He is now hitting .396 with a .491 on base. Goldschmidt gets a couple hits for Anthony Volpe. And Jason Dominguez goes 3 for 5 in this game with 3 hits off of left-handed pitchers as a right-handed batter. Now, the first 2 were the definition of bloops that kind of fell between the first baseman, second baseman, and right fielder in short right field. Then he did it again. He did it back-to-back at-bats, almost hit the ball in the exact same spot, but does get 3 hits in this game off of lefties, which I think is incredibly important for his confidence. DJ LeMahieu stayed hot with a couple hits, and Austin Wells, 5 runs batted in, batting in the 9th spot. So overall, a pretty solid game. Jazz Chisholm leaves this game with neck stiffness. He kind of got tagged in the head on a play where he stole third base, and so he ends up leaving the game late But again, it could have been just precautionary given, the fact the Yankees were up 8 runs late. We got to see a little bit of some interesting stuff there in the ninth inning in terms of fielding. We got to see J.C. Escarra play a little bit of first base, and we got to see Ben Rice catch another inning behind the plate. It's either his 5th, or I have to go back and look, but it's either his 5th or 6th inning behind home plate this season. So we have not seen the Yankees start him there. We have not even really seen the Yankees use him as a replacement other than in the 9th inning of blowouts. We have seen him catch the 9th inning of a handful of blowouts so far this year, but it'll be very interesting to see what value he provides there. I mean, if you look at the bat, obviously you would love to have him be a guy that can come in and give Austin Wells some off days, but you look at what J.C. Escarra has done, and, he's the relationship and the rapport that he's developed with Carlos Rodon, and I'm not necessarily sure we're at, the personal catcher type level yet there between those two, but given the way those two are playing, I don't think there's a lot of rush to, not have Escarra on this roster and give Ben Rice those backup catcher reps. But it's still good to keep that catcher's glove working because you never know when you're going to need it. Sometimes an emergency catcher is needed, and it's good that he can actually play the position. It makes a nice play on a high pop-up that he had to navigate around Oswald Peraza in order to make that catch. But overall for the Yankees, this was a great, great start to the series. They dominated in pretty much every facet of this game, had a lot of success with the bats, pitching, on the base paths, and it was really everything that you wanted it to be. And I'm very excited to see this type of a start, but considering how Saturday and Sunday went against Boston, this was a great way to start the series. And you're going to go right back at it tomorrow. Again, another game that's a 7:40 p.m. Start time. It is Clark Schmidt. I can't even speak right now. It is Clark Schmidt going up against Chris Bubic, who's going to be a very, very tough arm to go up against, having a fantastic season so far. As we mentioned on the series preview, he's a 1.43 ERA, a whip under 1, and 79 strikeouts and 75.1 innings pitched so far this season. So it is another lefty, as the Yankees are going to be facing 4 left-handed pitchers here in a row. They passed their first test with flying colors, 3 more to go. But before we go, I would like to mention that Giancarlo Stanton had a pretty solid outing tonight in his commencement of his rehab. Went 2 for 3, had a hard hit RBI, 111.4 miles an hour off the bat, 2 for 3, 3 RBIs, and a walk before being pinch ran for late. It is starting to look like he is going to be back for that Boston series, so don't expect him here today. Don't expect him tomorrow in the Royal Series finale, but I would not be surprised if he makes an appearance for the entire or at least part of that Boston Red Sox series. And when that decision is made, we will discuss it and we will see how this impacts the lineup moving forward. It's been a solid 2.5 months now of asking what's going to happen when Giancarlo Stanton comes back. Well, Giancarlo Stanton's coming back, and it's a positive for the Yankees in a lot of ways because you don't have everybody hitting at full speed. Paul Goldschmidt's cooled off a little bit. Trent Grisham is cooled off a little bit despite getting a couple hits tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Yankees work him back into the lineup, how often he's going to play early, and when he's going to be a full go. Obviously, he's going to be a DH only for the Yankees, but is this a scenario where he's going to play 3 days in a row? Will he play 2 days in a row and then have a day off as he's working his way back to a full workload? So we will see how that goes, and we will break it all down here on the Bombers Beat Podcast.